Newspaper Archive is a paid subscription service featuring digital archives of thousands of newspapers from around the world. Winnipeg Public Library has a subscription to this service that allows our members to search through a collection of Canadian newspapers, with a special emphasis on newspapers from the prairie provinces. Whether you're trying to track down birth notices and obituaries for genealogical reasons, looking for original sources for a research project, or just enjoy looking at advertisements from the past, Newspaper Archive is a great resource that you can access for free with your library card. To access Newspaper Archive, start at our website, winnipeg.ca/library. Click on the Databases button in the middle of the page. On the Databases page, you can click the letter N, or scroll down the page until you see Newspaper Archive. After clicking on the link, you may be asked for your library card number and PIN if you're accessing the site from outside of the library. Once that's done, you'll be taken to the Newspaper Archive website. There are a few ways to find newspapers and articles, but let's start by browsing some of the available titles. Scroll down the page until you find the Explore Canada Historical Newspapers by State box. You'll find a list of provinces for which Newspaper Archive has papers. I'll click on Manitoba. I'll scroll down on this page to see a list of cities and towns within Manitoba. Clicking on Brandon will bring me to a page now listing the available newspapers for this location and the years for which there are archived copies of those papers. I'll click on Brandon Daily Sun, and we get a breakdown by year. Clicking on a year will bring up the individual dates available. Clicking on one of those dates will load the newspaper. You can scroll up and down the page using the scroll wheel on your mouse or by click and dragging with your mouse. There's a row of tools along the top of the viewing area that can help you get around and navigate. The toolbar can be moved out of the way using the little double arrow icon. If you don't see the toolbar, click on the double arrow icon to get it back. The tools include navigation buttons that let you move forward and back or to specific pages. There are also zoom in and zoom out tools to let you get a closer look at a part of the page. I'll click on the Newspaper Archive logo, which takes me to the main page. Then I'll scroll down a bit and click on Canada. Although Newspaper Archive carries newspapers from many countries, Winnipeg Public Library subscription only includes Canadian newspapers. Being able to browse specific newspapers is great, but the real power in a digital archive is in its search functions, so let's give that a try. Let's say you're interested in contemporary accounts of the Winnipeg General Strike of 1919. You could go to the Search All Canada Newspapers box, type Winnipeg General Strike 1919, and click Search. It looks like we have over 14,000 results from our search, and the first page of results are all much more recent articles about the strike, not exactly what we were looking for. But we have options to help modify our results, like the Refine Results column on the right side. I'll limit articles to Manitoba, and I'll narrow the dates down to the 1910s. That helps, but what if we want to have more control over our search right from the start? Let's look at the Advanced Search page. From the main page, we can get there by clicking the Go to Advanced Search link just under the Search button, or we can click on the Search link at the top of most pages. There are a lot of options here, but we'll focus on the most useful ones. The With All of the Words box is probably the most useful for most searches. Every result will have all of the words on a single page. They might not necessarily be in the same article, so you'll often get many false positives, of course. The exact phrase box means the words must all be together on a page in the correct order, which can also be very useful. Be careful using the Without the Words box. This can easily exclude relevant articles because the word appears somewhere else on the page. The Narrow by Publication Date and Narrow by Publication Location options are very useful when you know the approximate date or place that something happened. Let's try a new example. Say you want to find the funeral announcement of Edward Irwin, and you knew it would have been in 1922 and was probably in Winnipeg. We'll put Edward Irwin in the With All the Words search box. We'll select Between Years under Narrow by Publication Date, and select 1922 as the start and end years, and we'll use the Narrow by Publication Location to narrow it down to Winnipeg. After we hit search, we get 28 results that match our criteria. Each search result has a snippet of text that was derived from the stored archives via optical character recognition technology. The first listing has the names Edward and Irwin next to each other, and the other ones below it don't. So that means the top result is most likely to be helpful for our search. I'll right-click on the article link and open it in a new tab. This way, if I want to check the other articles, the search results page is still open in its original tab. When the page opens up, the search terms we used are highlighted, which makes it easier to find. I'll zoom in a bit to make it easier to read. Looks like we found what we're looking for. As I mentioned earlier, searching is a powerful tool, but searching through what are essentially photographs of old newspapers is not without challenges. For instance, you can see that the article has the words "one of the" immediately after the name Edward Irwin. When we go back and look at the text snippet from the search result, though, it says "ono tho." It's an error that often occurs with optical character recognition software, especially when it's used on less than clear imagery like these old newspaper scans. Sometimes this happens because the original newspaper was in rough shape before it was first photographed. Sometimes the paper is faded and hard to read. Sometimes there's a print error or typo or misspelling in the original document. Sometimes there's a problem with the scanning process and you get smearing effects. For any number of reasons, the words you're searching for might be in the newspaper but might not come up in the search. So if you conduct a search and aren't finding what you're looking for, it's a good idea to retry your search using alternative spellings or different words. For obituaries, for example, you can try words like obituary, funeral, cemetery, or death. If searching for a name, try common alternative spellings or nicknames. When you've found articles you want, you'll probably want to save some of them so you can refer to them later. Newspaper Archive gives you a couple of ways to do this. The quickest method is to use the Save Image tool from the toolbar. This gives you the option to download the entire page in a couple of different formats. One nice thing about this option is that the file name includes the full name of the newspaper, the date, and the page number. The other option for saving articles works best if you create a free user account. Click the Create Free Account link at the top and enter your information. You can then log into your account by clicking on the User Login button at the top right of the page. Now we can snip smaller portions of the page. Let's clip a comic strip. Click the Crop button and select the Rectangle tool. This puts a square on the screen that you can click and drag into position. Grab one of the corners and click-drag it until it covers the item we want to clip. Fill in the information for the clip. Some items are optional, but some are required for clipping to work. You can create new folders to organize your collection. When you click Clip, you'll have the option to download your clip immediately as either a PDF or a PNG file. Note that the file name uses the date you downloaded the clip and doesn't include the newspaper or date, so if you want that information, be sure to rename the file. If you want to clip an article that isn't rectangular, you can use the Pen tool to outline what you'd like to clip. To see the items you've clipped, click the My Account link and select My Treasure box. You'll find your folders and within them the articles you've clipped. The clipped articles include the newspaper name, date, and page number, and you can download from this screen as well. Newspaper Archive is a powerful tool for research, and it's a great way to get a feel for our history. We hope you enjoy using this service.